Dome Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed, baby. Now let's talk about some of the greatest of all time, right? Some GOAT kind of stuff. And in the present, we only got a couple of fighters that are even in that conversation. That'll be Alexander Usyk and maybe Terence Crawford, right? Now, Terence Crawford has been said that if Terence Crawford can unify, become undisputed at 154 pounds, then he could possibly be the GOAT, the best fighter we've seen of all time. I've been telling you guys that he's in the mix for that. And the boxing community knows that. You would kind of tell by the fact that he can't get certain fights, his stuff keeps falling through. Let me explain. Terence Crawford became two-division undisputed at 147 pounds, beating Spence. Looked out of the ring, hey, you, Jermell Charlo, you got all them damn belts, right? At 154, you next. Jermell Charlo does not really want to have that fight. Terence Crawford was one fight from becoming three-division undisputed, correct? Jermell Charlo goes up here and lays down to Canelo Alvarez, right? Now, Canelo Alvarez is a special fighter. He gets special treatment in boxing. I think we all can agree on that. He gets special treatment, right? So if you're going up to have a Canelo Alvarez fight, most of the time people understand that you're going to fight Canelo, and everybody understands the sanctioning bodies and everybody involved, right? Well, that didn't happen to Jermell Charlo. He was stripped of his WBO title and was given to Tim Tszyu, right? So that shouldn't have happened. He should have been able to come down, and him and Tim Tszyu waits till after Canelo, and he fights Tim Tszyu for the undisputed title. But they, basically took those belts. So what happens to Terence Crawford? Jermell Charlo, Tim Tszyu, he couldn't fight for undisputed. So Tim Tszyu was supposed to fight somebody, and then Fundora came in, right, to take over because that other guy got hurt. I forget who Tim Tszyu is going to fight. Forget the name right now. But anyway, that fight was sanctioned, right, only because the WBO said the winner has to fight Terence Crawford. What happens? They were like, no, we'll fight Spence after that fight. That's what they started saying before. Forget what the rules are, what we've agreed upon. Nope, right? So now Fundora wins the fight, which I think they should have had a rematch anyway with Tim Tszyu and Fundora, but Fundora wins the fight, and now he wants to fight Spence. We're talking about it, but at the end of the day, Terence Crawford can't unify that division. He's going to fight Madrimov, right, and they're going to have two belts on the line, and the belts are going to be all over the place. But doesn't matter. Terence Crawford could have also fought Canelo Alvarez, right? Go up all the way up to 168. And the only reason he was trying to do that is so he could fight for undisputed, to become three-division undisputed. Canelo don't want to really do that, right? He says he won't get no credit for fighting the smaller Terence Crawford. And I'm thinking, well, Canelo, you fought Jose Zipo Lopez, Amir Khan, Miguel Cotto, and the likes, especially everybody you fought at 155 pounds. You were bigger than them. Now, and weight bullying them, right? So what's the deal here? You will get credit for beating one of the all-time greats in Terence Crawford. Doesn't matter how. But he doesn't really want to do that. Now, the problem I have with Canelo Alvarez is, well, you don't want to fight your mandatories in David Benavidez and David Morrell anyway. You don't want to fight Dimitri Bivol, who at 175 pounds, your excuse was, well, that might be a little bit too much weight. He offered to come down to your weight, and you don't want to do that either. So seeing as though you don't want to fight any of those great fighters, then Terence Crawford, a smaller one. But he's great. Not that either. So we would rather fight the Munguias and the Belangas of the world, right? Right? And they get away with that. But at the end of the day, it's like depriving your boy Terence Crawford from getting that third division undisputed, because like Chris Algieri says, and Chris Algieri, we all know that boy got something up here, right? Chris Algieri says, hey, Terence Crawford could become an all-time great if he unifies at 154 pounds, meaning the very best fighter we've ever seen. I agree with him. It's very possible. Let's make sure this is clear. He would have to beat Madrimov, which, make sure this is clear, I think Madrimov is going to be one of his top 3 hardest fights he's ever had, because Madrimov, first of all, is obviously naturally bigger, but is very athletic and has a complete game. I think that even though Tim Chu is tough, very tough, Tim Chu, I think Tim Chu would be a little bit easier because Tim Chu is just tough. I think that the athleticism of Terence Crawford will give Tim Chu issues. Now, the reason why I say Terence Crawford is going to have some problems here, not necessarily he's going to be unified the 154-pound division. He could possibly get clipped because of what he has in his heart and his courage. Terence Crawford could go up here and outbox these guys, but that's not what he's going to probably do. He's going to probably want to stand in the pocket with some of these guys, especially if you hit him and hurt him. He wants to stand in the pocket. You're going to continue to do that when you're going up in weight and something bad going to happen to you, especially getting 37, 38 years old. That's quite possible. If Terence Crawford had the mentality of other fighters who would just say, hey, you know, I'm more skilled. I'm just going to outbox these guys. I think he would have no problem at unifying 154. But because of his courage, because of his character, it could become an issue when he gets clocked by somebody. Let's just see how that works out, but at least he's going for it. Here's another thing on Terence Crawford's ledger that we always forget. The Manny Pacquiao saga. Manny Pacquiao is ridiculously awesome. Manny Pacquiao is one of the best of all time, we know. But when it comes to Terence Crawford, right? When it comes to your boy Terence Crawford, then what is the deal? He don't want to fight Terence Crawford. Never. Throughout the history, he didn't want to fight him. You had his promoter didn't want him to fight him, right? And that was Bob Arum, and his trainer, who was Freddie Roach, right? Didn't want him to fight him. A lot of pundits, Stephen A. Smith, Teddy Atlas, they all didn't want Pacquiao to fight him because they were worried about Pacquiao's well-being. Imagine that. Worried about Pacquiao's well-being. That's telling you something. Manny Pacquiao, I'm talking way back. I'm talking about the same Manny Pacquiao that people thought was going to beat Floyd Mayweather. They didn't want him to step in the ring with Terence Crawford. We're talking 215, 216 here, right? So, you know, that's way back, about 8 years ago now. So I'm just saying, all these things on his ledger, yes, you're looking at somebody who could possibly become the GOAT. So let's stop standing in his way. The boxing industry is doing this on purpose. That was what I just told you, Jermell Charlo, Canelo Alvarez. They all know. When you play a sport, you look at the box scores of your box scores and of your peers. Boxers do the same thing. They know that Terence Crawford is on his way to become a GOAT, but a lot don't want it to happen, and the industry is standing in his way. So my point is, if somebody would have got out the way and he would have fought Jermell Charlo, don't you think he would have probably beat Jermell Charlo? That would have been 3 division. Don't you think he has a chance to fight Canelo Alvarez and beat Canelo Alvarez? Yeah, that could be 4 division. Now, I know when it comes to 160, let Janabek, who everybody's thinking is the best one, right? Let Janabek unify the division, become undisputed, and yeah, we'll go fight him too. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, be careful. You might be watching the GOAT. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.